Welcome to Herbally Yours, an adventure into the world of natural medicine. Here is your host, Dr. Kamhi, the natural nurse who will help you take the leap to ultimate wellness.
And welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in today to Herbally Yours, right here on 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. Herbally Yours consistently brings you the latest information about many facets in the world of natural living. Today, I am so happy to bring on board our guest, Dr. Nauman Naeem. He is a medical doctor and a pulmonary and critical care specialist who has been interested in human behavior and how to achieve our highest potential since his adolescent years. His intellectual curiosity and drive motivated him to become a pulmonary and critical care physician, and his career has spanned 2 countries and has involved caring for tens of thousands of chronically and critically ill patients. He noticed that the majority of patients do not actually heal, but remain trapped in the paradigm of chronic disease. This motivated him to dive deeper into the roots of true healing through studying ancient healing traditions, the psychology of healing, conscious and metaphysics, which culminated in the writing of his new book, Healing from the Inside Out. He continues his medical practice in Ontario, Canada, and we join him today there with the goal of bringing conventional medicine with a more holistic, multi-dimensional approach to healing. And you can find him at Twitter at Light Body Healer and Facebook at Achieve Optimum Health. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Nauman.
Thank you, Ellen, for having me on again. Looking forward to our conversation.
Well, let's go back in time to you as a young boy, and what led you to, want to become a doctor?
Well, one thing that has defined my life is just my desire to explore and learn and intellectual curiosity. And that's been a defining feature of my childhood and has persisted throughout my life. I was always very curious and always exploring, and not just in terms of school subjects, but I was just always wanting to learn and study and acquire as much knowledge as I can. And that led me into the field of learning about human potential. And early on in my life, I was reading authors like Tony Robbins and Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra. And that's what got me interested in human potential and human behavior. And I actually wanted to have a career like one of those people. There wasn't a defined path. So, I entered the medical field because of the desire because of the potential ability to help lots of people with chronic disease, to work anywhere in the world, and relatively safe and secure profession. But what I found was that, a majority of people, I would not see them get better. They would just get stuck in the paradigm of chronic disease. And over time, as I continued in my medical practice, I started applying that earlier interest in human potential to illness, and I did my own research into those topics, and then it culminated in the writing of my book. And,
in your book, it's so useful, Dr. Nauman, because you have some excellent questionnaires that people could use to delve deeper into their own psyche to see if, in fact, do they have a deep desire to heal. Because as we know, sometimes people might even unconsciously identify with their illness, and in addition, it gives them more attention from perhaps their spouse, their relatives, from their doctors. So I love the questions you have, like on page 58, right. And this is to a patient, like, have you ever set the intention to heal?
Right. I think the quality of our life is really determined by the quality of the questions that we ask ourselves. And I think people don't ask themselves the right questions. I mean, we should always be questioning everything, especially when it comes to our health and our illness. And I don't think enough people do that. They just accept what they're fed by society, by physicians, by the medical pharmaceutical complex. So I feel that the questioning is one of the most powerful tools we can use, because it can open a line of inquiry which can take you deeper and help you get to the roots of your illness, if you're willing to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, I think first you have to ask yourself, what is going on internally other than just, I have this symptom, I go to my physician, and of course, what the physician usually does is just give a pharmaceutical. That seems to be the standard of practice in most cases today.
Yeah, it is. And the thing is, and the reason for that is because, I mean, this is the way we're trained, right? I mean, I went through the conventional medical school, allopathic medical school, and unfortunately, we are trained just to look at the physical. And it's unfortunate because the physical is just the most superficial level of who we are, and there's a lot deeper levels of who we are, and a lot of the roots of our illness and other ailments, they lie at those deeper levels. And physicians are seen as the be-all and end-all of healthcare and healing, but there's other, but unfortunately they don't go deep enough for the most part. And even if you go to naturopaths and functional medicine physicians, even they may not take you deep enough. So that's why I think it's very important for everyone to really question, the path that their health is taking. Why they have the illness and what is the root of that illness, and that's what my book tries to do.
Yes, and it does it beautifully. And I want to remind our listeners that you are listening to Herbal Yours on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Ellen Kamhi, the natural nurse, and my guest today is physician Dr. Nauman Naeem, MD, and he is the author of Healing from the Inside Out: Overcome Chronic Disease and Radically Change Your Life. So thank you so much for being our guest today, Doctor. Now,
thank you for having me.
How do you reconcile your practice of conventional medicine with a holistic, multidimensional approach to healing?
That's a great question. You see, I see my journey through medical school and working in conventional medicine as just one step in my journey of exploration and learning. Because I told you earlier that I've always been intellectually curious, and that didn't stop with me establishing my medical practice. That curiosity has persisted, and I continue to explore, the depths of who we are and our potential. So the way I reconcile that is that, this path that I have taken with my research and the writing of my book and trying to create or bring people to a more holistic approach to their health is just a further path in my journey to understanding healing, understanding who we truly are, and on the journey to unveiling our true nature.
And certainly that's going to touch on true healing, as you said.
Yeah.
Now, to bring you back to functional medicine, since you mentioned it, I have been very involved with the whole movement in functional medicine for many years. When Jeffrey Bland started it, we're talking about, 26 years ago or more.
Yeah.
And actually, they do bring in body-mind medicine and also a lot of less toxic, less invasive initial interventions, such as using botanicals, which have a better risk-benefit ratio, and physical therapies like massage. And that seems like it would work very well along with your philosophy in healing from the inside out.
Exactly. I mean, I think functional medicine is a more integrative approach to health and disease. And although I myself am not a functional medicine physician, I do know a lot of functional medicine physicians, and they have taken it a step further. And the piece that I feel that my book adds is the deeper emotional piece and the spiritual and the consciousness piece. And now there may be functional medicine physicians out there who actually touch on those aspects because I haven't done a functional medicine program. I can't comment on that. But I feel that would complement a functional medicine practitioner very nicely. And it all kind of, is part of the greater paradigm of healing.
I think so. One very famous physician that everyone knows, I'm sure, is Dr. Oz.
Yes.
And I was involved at Columbia Presbyterian on a panel called the Panel of Traditional Medicine. Well, he was still an active physician there. Mm-hmm. And he would, like you, do conventional medicine, but he brought in a lot of, let's say, consciousness, and he would even bring music and aromatherapy into the surgical suite. So he began to try to push that envelope. Right.
So what I have been seeing, maybe more so in the United States than here in Canada where I live, is there has been a push for more holistic practices. I mean, Deepak Chopra has been doing this for decades. And, you mentioned Dr. Oz, but there's been others like Bernie Siegel who wrote the foreword to my book.
Yes, he did.
And more recently, there's Lissa Rankin, who has several books out now as well. So there is a push for that. But what I would like to see is a lot of these holistic approaches, a lot of these deeper practices become a part of mainstream medicine. And although there are some inroads being made, I haven't seen that on a larger scale. But I think we're at the point where we really need a paradigm shift in our healthcare system, because the healthcare system is failing. I mean, I worked both in the U.S. and Canada, and it is not serving patients, and that's one of the main reasons why I went on this path to bring a more holistic approach, to patients and clients.
Well, I think it's wonderful that you did. And I want to remind our listeners that you are listening to Herbally Yours on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. Listen live or online at ncc.edu/WHPC or on the iHeartRadio app. We're so happy to be part of that. For more information on today's guest or topic, email whpc@ncc.edu. Stay tuned. Herbally Yours. We'll be right back.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back again right here to Herbally Yours on the voice of Nassau Community College. We're so happy to be here with a preeminent guest, and he's calling in all the way from Canada. We're so happy to have him, and that's Dr. Nauman Naeem, medical doctor. He is really been involved in all aspects of medicine, in particular pulmonary and critical care. And he is the author of the new book, Healing from the Inside Out, Overcome Chronic Disease and Radically Change Your Life. You know, Dr. Nauman, being